Welcome to funwithip.com. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to encrypt your entire hard drive using TrueCrypt. This might not be something that you're interested to do with a virtual machine. However, a laptop that you carry around, I know my work laptop I carry around, it's got a lot of proprietary information on it. If I were to lose that, it's got who knows what saved on it, names, passwords, IP addresses, network diagrams, all kinds of things I wouldn't want to fall into the wrong hands. If I lose my laptop, that's my fault, but if my laptop gets stolen, that's not my fault. And that happens quite often. So my hard drive on my work laptop, totally encrypted with TrueCrypt. If you pull it out and attach it to an external serial USB, controller, serial ATA USB controller, plug that in, nothing's really going to be able to read it. Similarly, if somebody took and attached an external CD drive to the laptop and booted up something like Knoppix or Ubuntu's, even Ubuntu Live Disk, they wouldn't be able to mount that partition and actually read data off it. So to do that, you're going to need two things, or possibly one thing. In our virtual machine here, we don't have a CD burner. I don't want to waste a CD trying to do this, so I'm just going to show you how to kind of get around TrueCrypt's built-in safety mechanism in case you forget your password. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. To do this, you're going to need two things for this example. We go to Google. We're going to Google Microsoft Virtual CD-ROM, which is a program that was originally not by Microsoft, but they bought it. And it basically in Windows XP allows you to make virtual CD-ROM drives and mount ISO files as a virtual drive. So we're going to run this, and we're just going to extract it to C virtual CD. You can put it anywhere you want. We'll say unzip, close, and then we're going to navigate there to find that. Okay, the first thing you need to do is install the driver, which is this virtual CD-ROM.sys that came with it. You'll start the driver, click OK a couple of times, and you're good to go. We'll leave this open for step 2 here. You can grab TrueCrypt for free at truecrypt.org, the download section, and we'll grab the latest stable release for Vista XP in 2000. Windows 7 is not officially supported as of the time of this recording with version 6.2a, but my hard drive is a Windows 7 hard drive on my laptop. It is encrypted and it works fine. TrueCrypt suggests, as well as I, that you make backups of all your data before you actually try this. If anything interrupts the encryption process, it can render the hard drive kind of useless and corrupt it, so not a good idea to not have backups of your data before you try this. As you saw, the installer was just a simple next, 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 finish, and here's TrueCrypt. So we'll launch this. We're going to go up to System, and then go down to Encrypt System Partition or Drive. This will be a normal encryption. We'll just click Next. We want to encrypt the whole drive. Sometimes you'll want to encrypt just the Windows System partition, depending on how many partitions you have. If it's a laptop, most likely you're probably only going to have one unless you kind of played with it, in which case you probably know what you're doing anyway. But for this purpose, we'll just say that we're going to encrypt the whole drive. We'll click Next. That little 8 meg free space that Windows leaves free at the end of the drive, we don't worry about encrypting that, so we'll just click No here. Here we'll select single boot because this is the only operating system on this virtual machine. Obviously you want to go through this process if you have more than one thing installed or more than one operating system installed. Click Next. These default values for encryption types are fine, so we'll click Next. Password. This is the password that you're going to have to put in when you power on the machine. They encrypt, or they recommend a password that's more than 20 characters long. That's extremely long. If you have a secure password that's uppercase, lowercase, numbers, special characters, and it's more than 8, 9, 10 characters, that's probably fine. So I'm just going to type something in there, click next, and it's going to give me a warning and says my password is less than 20 characters. That's fine. Here, this is where it generates the actual pool data for the encryption. It just tells you to move your mouse around inside the window, which makes these numbers kind of freak out and generate a random pattern. It says the more you move your mouse, the better. The longer you move it, the better, but that should be good. We'll click next. Next again. This is the part that I didn't want to waste a CD on. I don't have a CD burner in this virtual machine, nor do I want to attach one right now just for ease of use. If you are encrypting something like a netbook, a CD burner might not be an option for you. If you're encrypting a laptop with a CD or DVD writer, I highly recommend that you actually do this. Basically, it's going to create an ISO file, and that ISO file will be used as a master key in case you forget your password to decrypt your drive. You can always pop that CD in, and this will allow you to unlock the drive kind of as a means of backup. I'm going to kind of circumvent this little check here by clicking next, letting it create the ISO, going into virtual CD-ROM, adding a drive, clicking mount, and mounting this disk. So now that disk is mounted. Basically what TrueCrypt does is it goes through and checks all your optical drives to make sure that you had quote-unquote burned that image, and now it's on one of the drives. So I just click next, and it checked my virtual drive, thinking it was a CD drive, to make sure that the key disk was inserted. So we're going to click next again. It's going to ask us about wipe mode. You can just leave this at none, it's fine. And then it's actually going to do a test. So if we click the test button, what it's going to do is actually reboot the virtual machine. It warns us about data corruption in case some power process or other disk failure interrupts the encryption process. But it's going to reboot the machine and ask us to insert our password and make sure that the whole hard drive encryption process is actually going to work with this machine. So we're going to go ahead and tell it yes. And when Windows comes back up, or before Windows comes back up rather, you can see that we are presented with a TrueCrypt bootloader screen where we're asked to put in our password. So we'll put that in, hit enter, and it'll go past that section and actually start booting the OS again. At this time the OS is not encrypted yet. When we get back into Windows, you'll see TrueCrypt pops back up and actually we'll go through with the encryption process. Okay, here we are now back in Windows. TrueCrypt is telling us that the test is completed. We can go ahead and click the encrypt button to encrypt the disk. Again, it warns us about having backups of our data. This is the process that actually goes through and encrypts the disk. This process takes a long time. This is a 32 gig virtual disk that we're doing right here. It says 24 minutes, but it's going to take a whole lot longer than that. I just did tonight my 160 gig hard drive inside my Lenovo tablet, and that took approximately 4 hours. So this process does take a while. You cannot cancel it, and do not interrupt it, or else you could be facing some possible data loss. As you can see now, TrueCrypt is just finishing up the last few percent of encrypting the disk. When it's done, it'll tell us that the system drive has been successfully encrypted. We can click OK, click Finish, and nothing else really changes. A lot of people ask questions about speed. On my laptop, I haven't really noticed any significant decrease in speed. It's not the newest laptop. I think it's got 2 gigs of RAM and it's a Core 2 Duo something or other. So older laptops, you may see a hit. Anything newer than a couple years ago, and you shouldn't even notice. That should be it for encrypting a full drive with TrueCrypt. If you get a chance, check out funwithip.com for more videos or useful tips. Thanks.